Sign up to Council's disaster and weather event warning system. Receive alerts about emergency news, severe weather events and other public safety alerts via SMS or email. Registering to the disaster messaging system is free. To register, visit Gladstone Regional Council's Region Watch website and click on the Register for Warnings button. Get ready, Gladstone. Take the steps to protect what's most important to you. Let's be better prepared and protected for emergencies and disasters.
Good morning and welcome everyone to the general meeting of Tuesday the 3rd of October 2023. First of all, we'll call for apologies, and we have an apology from Mayor Matt Burnett and Councillor Natalia Muscat, which I will need a mover for a motion.
So moved.
Moved Councillor Churchill, seconded Councillor Cameron. I put that motion that be accepted. All those in favour? Declare that carried. Thank you. And I will say we've got Councillor Branthwaite joining us online as well. We'll move now to messages of condolence. Are there any messages of condolence? No? We'll move on. Prior notifications of conflicts of interest, and I know we do have one from Councillor O'Grady.
Yes, thank you, Councillor Goodluck. So I, Councillor Desley O'Grady, would like to declare that I have declarable conflict of interest in a recent topic of discussion at the Council information session regarding the future operation of the 1770 low pressure sewerage system. My conflict arises as my brother has a commercial connection to the low pressure system and my relative is the owner and operator of the plumbing business at which my nephew is an employee who frequently works on the low pressure sewer system. Both may be impacted by my future council decision. While this matter is not part of today's agenda, as a result, this is a declarable conflict of interest and I will not be participating in future decisions relating to the council's operation of the 1770 low pressure sewage system, and I will leave the room should this matter arise. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor O'Grady. No other conflicts? No, I do have a conflict. Councillor Khan, good luck. Would like to declare that I have a prescribed conflict of interest in a recent topic of discussion at a councillor information session on the 26th of September regarding an expression of interest in land of lot 21 SP 252843. My conflict arises as I am the president of the Boyne-Tanham Arts Business and Community Association Inc., or the BTABC, who has expressed an interest in the land, and I declared that conflict in that meeting and left the room on the 26th of September. While this matter is not a part of today's agenda, as a result of this prescribed conflict of interest, I will not participate in any future decisions relating to the expression of interest in Lot 21 SP 252843, and I will leave the room should that matter arise. No other conflicts, councillors? No? We're right to move on. Thank you. We'll move now on to the mayoral statement of current issues, and in the absence of the mayor, I won't speak too broadly, but I will note that we have had a number of events across the region over the past couple of weeks. We've had the 1770 Cultural Connections Immersions Festival and the Baffle Creek Family Fishing Festival, and I understand Councillor Churchill attended those events and might give us a brief update later on. And we also had the Calliope Rodeo on the weekend, which I did attend. It was great to see, and one part in particular, I think Councillor Grady informs me, they're protection athletes. The bullfighters, we saw some exceptional displays of courage and mateship where the bullfighter jumped on a bull rider who'd come off and just thrown their body into the line of fire to protect their mate. And the crowd was cheering, but the night in general was packed. It was a great night of entertainment and some good musicians on show there as well. We do have Beach Arts Music, or BAM, coming up on the weekend out at Tanham Sands, and on the 17th of October or 16th of October, I will mention that we do have the LGAQ conference that we're proudly hosting right here in the Gladstone region, the Local Government Association of Queensland conference. It's about 3 days. We will have over 700 delegates, mayors, councillors, CEOs and officers. I think the Deputy Premier as the Minister for Local Government, and possibly even the Premier will be in attendance, and it's a great opportunity for councillors and others in the local government sphere to come together, share stories about projects and innovations and different ways of challenging the various different issues that we challenge every day in the local government right across Queensland. So it's a great learning opportunity for councillors, and we also have the debate of motions where councils will debate motions about topical issues and changes that we can advocate to state and federal governments for better outcomes for our community. So we're very proud to be hosting that in a couple of weeks right here in the Gladstone region. We'll move now on to the confirmation of minutes, item number G/2.1, confirmation of general meeting minutes for 19th September 2023. Do I have a mover? Moved Councillor Trevor, seconded Councillor Hanson. We'll put the motion. All those in favour? Declare that carried. Thank you. We don't have any deputations, but we will move now on to item number G/4.1, development application DA 1223 for reconfiguration of a lot. And I'll hand over to the Acting General Manager of Customer Experience, Mark Bailey, and Tegan Anabina. Over to you, Mark. Thank you.
Good morning and thank you. The purpose of this report is to decide development application 1223 for refiguring of lot 1 lot into 2 lots on land at 3 Seaspray Drive, Agnes Water, against the State Planning Policy July 2017 and our place in our Plan Gladstone Regional Council Planning Scheme version 2 under the Planning Act 2016. Development application for the refiguring of lot 1 lot into 2 lots was considered properly made on the 23rd of March 2023 with confirmation notice issued on the 24th of March 2023. The application was prepared by Zone Planning Group on behalf of John Boynton Hamilton and Rachel Hamilton. An information request notice was issued for the development application on the 11th of April 2023, to which the applicant provided a response on the 15th of May 2023. After due diligence and comprehensive reporting by the officers, it is considered the proposal is generally inconsistent with the provisions of the planning scheme and has been unable to clearly demonstrate that the lots proposed are appropriate for their intended use and the character of the zone. Put to the councillors that you take the report as read, and I will briefly sum up the officers' recommendation that the request for a development permit for the refiguring of lot 1 of lot one lot into two lots located at 3 Seaspray Drive, Agnes Water, be refused on the following grounds. The proposal involves the creation of small lots that are considered insufficient in size, appropriate for the intended use, and are not consistent with the character of the zone. Insufficient supporting material has been provided to demonstrate compliance with the Steep Land Overlaid Code, absence of a site-specific geotechnical report to assess stability of the site. The application therefore does not achieve compliance with the purpose of the Steep Land Overlay Code. Insufficient supporting material has been provided to ensure the proposal is responsive to the topography of the land, to ensure the amenity of the adjoining lots, and the locality would not be detrimentally affected. Absence of plans detailing proposed cut and fill heights, location and size of retaining walls to assess the extent of the required earthworks and retaining walls. There is also insufficient supporting material has been provided to ensure the development is provided with appropriate infrastructure with respect to managing stormwater. There's absence of site-specific stormwater management plan to demonstrate non-worsening of the stormwater discharge for both proposed lots. I take it in line that the report is read and open up for any questions.
Thank you, Mark. Councillor Cameron.
Thank you, Acting Mayor. Look, thank you for your report. Great report, high in detail. And I agree with your report in every aspect of this. As people may not know, I've been in the building industry since 1970 and have built one or two homes and have built some structures on slopey sites. One of our responsibilities as a contractor these days, and always has been, to help your client not make poor decisions. And in my opinion, this would be a poor decision. I can't see that configuring that lot into two lots and putting two standalone buildings on it would come with a good result. So I thoroughly endorse the manager's report and the recommendations, and I'm happy to move that the manager report be accepted as read. Thank you.
Thank you. We've got a mover for the officer's recommendation. Councillor Cameron, just confirming, yep. Councillor Cameron, sorry, moving the officer's recommendation? Yep. I'll get a seconder before we go to other questions. Do we have a seconder for that motion, please? Councillor Trevor will go. So we've moved Councillor Cameron, seconding Councillor Trevor, and we're going to go now back to any further questions. Councillor Churchill.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to get a clarification in relation to part of the assessment in your report, and thank you for the report. Extremely comprehensive and very insightful. But you make reference to the state planning scheme, be it from 2017, and your reference is that articulates the state interests that have been identified as critical to protecting and enhancing Queensland and delivering developments. I just see this is a simple question, hopefully there's a simple answer, is that the state planning policy, does that overrule, does that circumvent our own planning scheme?
Thank you, Councillor. They act in a layer to each other. So the state planning policy is the overarching state government, position on a lot of different matters. So it's not just in regards to, say, steep land. It covers a lot of different matters. Our planning schemes by legislation are required to reflect the outcomes of those state planning policies. So they operate in conjunction with each other. Granted, our planning scheme is due for review, and as part of that, we would be obviously realigning that. But essentially, the state planning policy, although newer than our planning scheme, still reflects the same intent, which is what that assessment is showing.
Thanks very much for that, and that was my addendum question. Depending on your answer as such, we're going to review our planning scheme, but that would still be the case so that we can, as you referred to it as a tier, to align with the current state planning policy.
Yes, correct.
Okay, thank you, because it seems to be that their state planning policy is 6-7 years old.
Yes, correct.
Anyway, in light of saying that, my other question appropriately doesn't appear in there, but it does get raised a few times, especially in precedents, where it relates to creating a precedent. So I'm going to ask the question, I want to ask the question today. Has there been a precedent set for this type of development, articulating it down from a subdivision to small 300, 400 square metres in the perimeter or the parameters of this area?
So this decision as determined today, whether that be to uphold the officer's recommendation or if it was to be overturned and be approved, doesn't necessarily set precedents. In the Planning Act, each application has to be assessed on its own merits. So it's all very site-specific. As you would see, the main issues of this particular one is because of the site specifics, the slope, the access, stormwater, those types of things. So we may approve a lot this small in a different situation, no steep land, better access, those types of things. So there's no technical precedent set when you come to planning decisions. What you could take as precedence is if the character of the area is altered, we start allowing more smaller lots, which then makes the character different, which is why this report specifically talks about the existing character of sea spray and starfish, not having that character. There is some on Palm Court, but they are much flatter and then in their own little pocket sort of further down. So it's not really precedence, it's talking about the overall character of the neighbourhood.
Thank you for that, and that's where Councillor Cameron made reference to it as well. Thank you for that.
Councillor Hanson.
Yeah, just a question regarding the pre-lodgement meeting and the information that we gave out was all correct and whatever. The report's really good. I would have thought that at that stage, the applicant might not have proceeded. We've given them all the correct information as according to the planning scheme, but surely we could see at that stage that maybe it wasn't worth progressing to the stage we've got to now. So, any comment on that?
I guess that's why pre-lodgements are really important. Council can, I guess, be upfront with their decision before proceeding to a lodgement of an application. Obviously, we can't prevent anyone from lodging any application for anything. I think the crux of it is that the feedback from the pre-lodgement is that we needed more information to be comfortable with allowing such a subdivision, and that information just hasn't been, I guess, upfront with us to be able to make that decision confidently.
And those size lots are allowed if they can demonstrate. I've got a concern with the size of the lots.
Yep. So they're
Splitting them
technically
up.
not allowed. They don't meet the minimum lot size of that zone. So that's why they're impact assessable. They have to be assessed on their own merits. So and as far as a code assessable base level application, no, they don't meet the minimum lot size. They're non-compliant in that regard.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tegan. Perhaps we have given information, just a question from my understanding, and I'm not a planning expert, that's why we have you guys, but we did give feedback, it seems, in the pre-lodgement meeting that this would be an achievable outcome based on certain criteria, certain information that we've requested, and then the lot sizes in specific is one of the reasons, the basis for not approving, one of various reasons. So I'm just curious, there's only so many ways you can split a lot like that. Was there another way that they could have done it that would have given a different outcome, or?
Yeah. So if you look at the wording of the first reason for refusal, it's actually about being insufficient in size appropriate for their intended use. And that's not just the size, it's also the topography and characteristics of the site. So if this site wasn't steep, if it was completely flat, there may be merit to approving such a lot size, particularly because this is, in proximity to commercial precinct and those types of things. But because of those slope issues and all the ongoing, stormwater, earthworks, those types of things, it does make it difficult. Also, granted, if this lot was flat, then probably they could facilitate separate connection, one onto starfish, one onto sea spray, which would also then remove that battle axe handle, a lot of those issues. So I guess it's hard to say we would never support lots of this size. It's just that this particular lot, it's difficult to support because of all of those issues that we've raised.
Yep, no, thank you. That answers my query. And just another query that I had in relation to a number of the overlay codes and the drainage. What's the difference between work that an applicant has to do in an operational works permit versus information that you have to have prior for submitting for the development application? Some of that stuff, is it the case that is in operational works in some cases, or what determines when we require that information?
Yeah, so in the instance of this, because of the slope issues on the site, Obviously, stormwater only runs one way. So officers at the ROL stage are wanting to make sure that each lot can adequately drain. Councillors would be aware of other lots in this particular region where the drainage is an issue and you're putting overland flow over another person's lot, or we're not exactly sure how it's going to impact upstream or downstream. So in those instances, we really want to see that stuff up front. However, in my hypothetical I mentioned before, if it was a flat site that each had its road access and it was all reasonably draining to the street, we probably wouldn't ask for that level of detail because it's, you know, the drainage is already there. So
And
it just
then that-
depends on the site characteristics.
So then that would be required in the operational works?
If it
is
even
that-
needed an operational work, sometimes it would be part of building works. It would just depend on what they're
Yeah.
building or needing to construct. Generally speaking, at the ROL or MCU stage, it's much higher level. Can you adequately drain? And it's a much higher level report. Op works is what are your pipe sizes? What are your depths? What are your flow rates? Those types of things.
Okay. Thank you. Any further questions? Councillor Churchill.
Just one that's probably a little bit annoying for me at this stage. So as a result of what Councillor Hanson made reference to there before about the pre-lodgement meeting, and we've had those discussions pre-lodgement meeting, we go through the process, and now we're here and as has been discussed, and you've got a motion there to refuse the application. That doesn't mean the applicant still has other courses of action that they can appropriately take, and resultantly they could develop. Can they develop on that one block something that would be what's the best way to put it? Multi-use. So that's not the right terminology. You'd have the right
A similar density.
Beg your pardon?
A similar density.
A similar density. Yeah,
Yes,
thank you for that.
that's
You took the words right out of my mouth. Yeah.
So the lot is over 800 square metres. So on paper, technically, it meets the minimum lot size for a duplex arrangement.
Okay.
There's a lot less issues with a duplex in that you haven't got two separate lots. They don't need separate connection to water and sewer, those types of things. I can't say that a duplex would be accepted development, self-assessable
No,
on
that's
that
fair
site
enough.
because obviously it would depend on the design and the characteristics. But yes, there is that avenue. Or they could build a dwelling house as well. And obviously, depending on the decision we make today, the applicant may escalate that to the P&E court if they're not happy with that decision.
Okay, thank you. I'm comforted by that. Thank you.
Thank you. No further questions? Councillor Cameron.
Yeah, just a comment. What we're looking at today is not what we're going to build there today. We're looking at configuring the block into two. Where the discussion's coming around is what can be done with that in the future if it is reconfigured. There is those possibilities, and I looked at duplex with party wall, all that sort of business. That also can be done, would be a more logical way to go. But that's not what we're looking at here today. I can't see that lot being configured into two separate blocks, given the fall on the site. It's 7 metres. Yeah, that's a lot. And when you build on slopey sites, the more the slope in it, the more area you need to cope with transition between pathways and all that sort of business. So to me, that's just not a workable option on a site that size with a 7 metre fall. You know, I would advise against anybody building that on. It's a good site for a single dwelling because you can get a lot of great architectural results on splitting the levels of a building up a site, and you get some really fantastic results, and that would be the better use of that site in my opinion. But to configure that into two and put two small standalones on that, I think would be a poor use of that land. And I can't see that you would get a good outcome, and I think our officers have addressed all these matters very professionally and made some good decisions. That's just comment.
All right, nothing further. We do have a mover in Councillor Cameron. I think it was seconded by Councillor Trevor. Yes. So I'm going to put the motion. All those in favour? We will declare it carried. Thank you. We'll move now on to councillors' reports. Thank you, Mark, Tegan and Abina. Do we have any councillor reports from around the table? Councillor Hanson.
Mine is for an event that's going to happen tomorrow and Thursday, which is the Queensland Information Centres Association Conference and Awards Night hosted by Agnes Water, and the Agnes Water Visitor Information team have put it all together and done a wonderful job. I will be attending on behalf of the Mayor to help with the opening with GAPDL CEO Nicola Smith, now, not Nicholas Kerr, Nicola Smith. So they put together a great program, looking forward to it, and congratulations to the team at the Visitor Information Centre, especially, in Agnes Water for putting this all together. Great job.
Absolutely. Any further councillor reports? Councillor Churchill.
Yeah, thanks, Chair Khan. Just allow me to indulge just a couple of them. That was probably the first one was the Baffle Creek fishing competition. Extremely well attended. I was rather surprised by the amount of Gladstone region people that were not only participating but attending the awards afternoon as well. And I caught up with the member for Burnett, Stephen Bennett, so congratulations to Wayne Kemp, the president, long-time president, and his very strong band of volunteers. Gladstone Regional Council has been a continued investment supporter of the Baffle Creek week-long fishing competition. So I know we have the wonderful Boyne Tannum hookup, but this one goes for a whole week. And great interaction and the terrific sponsors that are involved and the entertainment as well. So yeah, another great fishing competition. The other one appropriately was the one on the weekend that everyone was busy around the region doing lots of things, but was the 1770, you made reference to it, Cultural Connections Immersion Festival. And I had the opportunity to be part of the official opening, and extremely well attended and great entertainment from right around the region. Congratulations to Dr. Kerry Blackman, author, advocate and ambassador. Leanne Enoch, who was representing the Queensland Government Minister, and Leanne is the Minister for Treaty, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Partnerships, Communities and the Arts, so she's got a fairly broad portfolio. But the idea of the festival was a perfect opportunity to come together with our First Nations brothers and sisters, have some fun and enjoy themselves and learn about the rich history of First Nations people. So Council is a major sponsor of the 1770 Cultural Connections Immersion Festival, has in the past and did on the weekend, and let's hope that they will continue to be, that we will continue to be a supporter of that through our community investment program. And congratulations to all the entertainment, such a broad spectrum of entertainment coming from, you know, Woorabinda and right around the region. And it was interesting because there were people there, and there was one of the speakers from Tasmania. So there was people that come from right around the nation. And there was also a large delegation from First Nations from Canada. So there was an international delegation at the festival as well. So all in all, aspiring and inspiring. And if you wouldn't mind me a moment, Chair Khan, to indulge just briefly, if you wouldn't mind, was that on Friday, and thank you to Councillor Hanson and Councillor Cameron who were able to attend the National Police Remembrance Day, had at the Anglican Church. Overall, it was an opportunity for the Gladstone Regional Council, from our perspective, to pay our respects, lay a wreath, and at the same time acknowledge that the Queensland police officers themselves and police support staff are out there on a regular basis endeavouring to maintain justice within our community. It was a big gathering, and there's probably some aspects, if you wouldn't mind me making mention. The Gladstone Thistlepipe Band did a special rendition, and they performed Amazing Grace as a tribute to Constables Rachel McCrow and Constable Matthew Arnold. So the emotion is still raw when we consider that those officers were slain. And as some of you, if not all of you, would know, that Constable Rachel McCrow's family were a background from Gladstone. And the other part, I suppose, in my other role with the Queensland Retired Police Association, it was wonderful to acknowledge those that continue to have in the past paid service to their community. So if I could just personalise this a little bit, the significance of the National Police Remembrance Day collectively across the nation is not only to honour their service but to pay respects. And I myself, who many years ago charged a gentleman with attempting to murder me, and it resultantly, when it got into the courts, it was reduced to assault police. Why do I say this? Because of circumstances. No police officer, no emergency service officer, no council worker, no worker in actual fact should ever go to work at any time in their workplace and their family and their friends think or know that they may not come home. So I thank the Gladstone Regional Council, I thank the community for their continued support of the National Police Remembrance Day, and for those that have passed on, those constables and others, on your behalf and behalf of our community, may they rest in peace in God's care. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Churchill. Councillor O'Grady.
Thank you, Deputy Khan. Good luck. Now, I just want to, there was a media release on Friday, so the councillors around this table for 2 terms now have supported the Boyne Burnett Inland Rail Trail. So the great announcement Friday was the state government actually injected $188,000 into doing one bridge, which is down between Maddubber and Gayndah, which is part of the rail trail, obviously. So they've put money towards the feasibility study, they've put money towards our concept design, and now they're paying to Deccan Rail, one of the bridges. The reason why that was the priority bridge to Deccan Rail is it actually encroaches, when you go down and under it, encroaches on someone's property. So we didn't want people sort of going onto other people's property, so that was the first one. So we'll continue to advocate for more funding for other bridges to be done in the Gladstone region, but all one day it will add up and it'll be 270 kilometres long. It will be the longest rail trail in Australia. So yeah, so thank you to the state government, thank you to Glenn Butcher, Mark Bailey, and also the TMR guys that we deal with through the rail trail. So much for looking after us, I suppose. For everything that they've done for us, because it all adds up. So all the costing. So, and also while I'm talking about the rail trail, thank you to all the people that have believed in the rail trail, especially the volunteers. We had people out there on the weekend actually welding up some rails so cattle didn't get in on the rail trail, and just different things like that. But there's people. One man that's actually just moved to the Boyne Valley region, he rang me about 6 weeks ago and he said, "Oh, Desley, I'm moving to the region, I'm retiring, I really got nothing to do, so what would you like me to do on the rail trail?" So, and he's been, every weekend he's been on his mower doing zero turn, he's been helping with digging holes and whatever else. So, and one of the reasons, it helps people with their mental health, getting out in the open and helping and assisting organisations like the Boyne Burnett Inland Rail Trail. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Nothing further. I've been called a couple of times in my life Shere Khan, out of the Jungle Book, because people have used it to remember my name, but I've never been called Chair Khan, so that's why I had a bit of a giggle. So,
Acting Mayor Khan.
I've been called lots worse. But we'll move now. We've got no urgent business items, we've got no notice of motions, and we've got no confidential items. So thank you all. I'll declare the meeting closed at 9:31 a.m.